Oh yeah, we're gonna keep this new shop spotless. It'll always be clean. We'll sweep the floor, we'll pick our shit up. It'll be great. You know, the sad part is I give my kids crap for a messy bedroom. That's the sad part. Such a hypocrite. So anyway, most of you probably guessed after the last video that this is not a giant butter knife forged from a jackhammer bit. That was a bit of a clickety-baity title, but didn't work anyway. Kind of tongue-in-cheek. But anyway, what this is, and some of you guessed it in the comments, this is an axe drift. More specifically, a small, like a boy's axe and a hatchet drift. It's not quite wide enough up near the top for a full-size axe, but that's okay, because part of what I want to be making is hewing hatchets, things like that. I've used them before making bows, things like that, and they're very handy. So basically what we're doing while I'm waiting for the, while I'm waiting to be able to order the motor for the grinder, the VFD did come in finally. That came in yesterday. A little bit late, but better late than never. It's actually, looks like it's made pretty well. It's only a NEMA 1 enclosure, so that means we're gonna have to do something to negate dust in it, because otherwise it will, it'll fill up, that steel dust, things like that. It'll really screw up the drive itself. So we're gonna probably wrap it in a very fine, like a MERV 8 or MERV 12 filter media, or we'll build another enclosure for it and put tiny little filter racks on that, because we really want to keep the dust out of there. Now it does look like I can get like a remote cable for it. I think I can get it up to 3 feet long, so I might do something with that. I don't know, because if it's anywhere in this room to begin with, it's going to be dusty. It's going to get dusty. So anyway, I know you guys probably think, well, 2 parts to forge this thing out. This steel is very, very hard steel. It finally started going a little bit easier once we, it's getting warm. Started going easier, obviously, once we started thinning it out. Now, there's going to be a lot of grinding on this thing to do. Woo! Even with the welding gloves, she's a little toasty. Maybe we'll get the tongs. Maybe that would be smarter. Yeah. There we go. So, the profile of a drift for an axe head or a hatchet head, as this is, it's going to slope up on one side, be fairly flat on the other, on the pole side of the eye, and then this will be facing the bit up here. Now I've got to grind that down so it's a nice smooth bevel all the way up, and then we also need to turn it into a wedge shape, which I have that started, but we're going to come down to almost, not quite a point, but we're going to come down close to a point, and we have to round over the back side, the pole side of the drift. Of course, we leave a handle on it right there, so for one, it's something to hold on to, and secondly, it's something to pound on. We're going to have to grind that off and chamfer the edges really well. But as far as forging goes, it's pretty straight. Anything else we can take care of in grinding. I'll probably do a lot with the angle grinder just so I can get it done. I would really like to wait until I have my have the grinder finished, because this right here would be a very good test of the grinder. It's a thick, big piece of steel. It's a very hard steel. I have no idea what type of steel this was made out of. It would be good to know. So if well, I'm not sure where I just left off there, because the memory card filled up on me and the camera stopped recording. That was cool. So I'll have to figure that out. When I go into edit here in a couple of minutes. I was in there long enough digging for the other one and importing the other stuff that this cooled down enough to handle it. It's a little warm up here, but we can grab onto it. So anyway, so I'll explain this one more time and I'll edit out where I need to. So I'm going to get the spine of this thing flat, the pole side of it. Let me see if I'll bring you up a little closer. Let's see. There, let's follow that. So we're going to get this spine right here flat, and we're going to get this an even taper all the way down. We don't want any bellies in that. I want it flat all the way down. Now you see how narrow this is. This measures, tape measure right there. So this measures, we are 1 inch and 9/16 on the fat end. Actually, we go up to about 1 5/8 inches there. On the narrow end, we're like 1 1/4 inches. On the spine, which is going to be the pole end, we're 1/2 inch. And we taper up to 9/16. Down here, we're going to go to a point, but right now we're at 5/16 on that. And that's fairly consistent. There. So if we were to hold this up once we get done grinding, if you were to look down at the end of it, it's going to look more like a teardrop. This will be rounded over. This will be pointed. If you envision what the eye of your axes or hatchet looks like, that's kind of all we're trying to create here, so that when we go to form this, basically when we go to form it, everything will fit in there nice. And we'll be able to put a handle on it. The whole idea is to have a handle, a wooden handle go on, have it stay on, all that good stuff. So anyway, I know what I'm trying to say. English, it must be my third language. But so that's what we're going to do. And it's also going to be slightly tapered this way also, so that the cheeks of the axe kind of do what they have to do. But anyway, that's where we're at. We're going to have a lot of grinding on this one. We need to make a punch, an eye punch for this also to kind of go with it. The eye punch has to be a little bit bigger than this. So we have a spot to start this. This tip down here will be beveled, kind of sharpened, not razor sharp or anything like that, but it'll be kind of sharpened a little bit so that we can, it'll plow through the metal. Basically, once we punch the eyes out, this thing is more just forming the metal. It's pushing the metal out of the way. It's not removing material. So that's, anyway, I guess that was incoherent enough. But yeah, if you owe it to your life, if you ever get the opportunity, forge something with a jackhammer bit. They are stout, very stout, and I still have enough pieces left to do some other things. Now, other things that we have to make if we're getting into actually making tools. Now, I'm not looking to make designer stuff here. I'm just looking to make good working operating tools that anybody can use, beat the hell out of, and get a lot of use out of them. That's really what I'm looking for. That's the whole goal here, the whole idea behind this. I know what I like to use when it comes to the timber framing and stuff like that. I know exactly what I like to use. It's up here, and if I can make the stuff how I like to use it, I'm thinking there'll be a lot of you doing these projects who can do the same. I have to make a mandrel also, and that's going to be doing for, we're going to use that for making sockets on slicks, firmer chisels, things like that, the big chisels. So that's coming up too. So while we're waiting for the grinder motor, we're going to be spending a lot of time here in the forge doing, making tools just to make the tools. Because if we don't have the stuff to make the tools, it's going to be pointless to even get into it, to even start, because it's just going to be a screwed up, goofy process, and it won't be any good for me, and it'll be so inefficient time-wise and anything. So if we're going to do this, I want to be ready to do it as soon as I'm ready. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Now you know what the big butter knife is, and I'll catch you on the next one.